Hey, Marianne. Just setting stuff up, guys. Give me a second. Hey, Tammy, good to see you. Hey, other Tammy, good to see you. Pin comment. All right. What's going on? I see Kristen over in YouTube. I see Ruby and a lot of people over jumping on Facebook. How is everybody? Hi, Cindy Buckner. Kristen's in the house. JTR is there. Michelle, hello. Stacy, hello. John, hello. Kim, hello. I hope everyone's having an awesome week. I hope you all had an awesome week. Let's see. All right, so it's not what I meant to do. Hey, Red, how is everybody? I'm feeling a lot better this week. Last week, I apologize that I didn't quite manage to jump onto our live. I got hit with a migraine, which I've not had in a while. But I kind of got smacked down with one pretty badly last Sunday. But it's been a crazy week. A lot of changes, a lot of things going on. It's been a good week. Working real hard at continuing to try to get in shape, continuing to try to continue to grow our community and our brand in a bunch of different ways. And health-wise, once the migraine passed, all was good. Hey, Lawrence, good to see you. Joni, hello. How was all your week? Steve is still alive, so according to him over on Facebook, that was a good week. Busy week of watching grandkids. I see that, Cindy. Trying to add a link on. Oh, the migraines are bad. Now, I don't get them as bad as I used to get them. I don't know what that clink was. Hey, Wendy. Strange sounds coming from Facebook. So on Facebook, you guys will notice I've got a pinned comment. So we are continuing to have one weekly trivia challenge every week. And I've loved this opportunity to play with you guys. And some of you have challenged me to extra games, but I'm a little outnumbered over there. So when you challenge me to a game on Trivia Crack, please just understand that about 1,000 other people are probably doing the same thing. So I do try throughout the week to answer some of those and play one-on-one with you. But every week I'm going to be launching Sunday at 8 o'clock, coinciding with our wonderful world of Gen X. I'm launching a 3-day Trivia Crack Challenge. This week, just like last week, it's going to be trivia around the 60s, the 70s, the 80s, and the 90s. And I just posted the top 5 from last week. And I got to say, I wasn't one of them. I wasn't one of the top 10. I wasn't one of the top 20. I think I came in like 70th out of 700. Chris Austin, good to see you, buddy. Long time no see. Chris Austin, if it's the Chris Austin I'm thinking of, and I graduated high school together and have known each other for a ridiculously long time. So I'm hoping I'll do better this week on it. There's a lot of things they want to do to help us in our community, so I partnered with them. It's more than a game. We may get a channel over there where we get to do some really cool things. So those on Facebook, there's about, I don't know, 80 of you right now. The link is on there. If somebody from Cindy or Kristen or Jason, if one of you want to jump over to Facebook for a second and copy that link and then paste it onto YouTube, I will pin it that way. But I don't want to spend too much time on it, but it just was a lot of fun. I was really, really shocked at how much fun it was and how much I enjoyed seeing you guys beat me, because usually I don't like being beaten at anything. Double barrel streaming. Yeah, Wirehead, got Facebook going over here, got YouTube going over here. At some point, I may try to incorporate TikTok. I've got people on TikTok saying that they feel a little left out. Hey, Jason, what's up? My cats are fighting, says Maranatha. Go Bills, says Beth. Yeah, my Bills did a good job this Thursday. If anybody's a Miami Dolphins fan, my condolences. I have nothing but respect for the team and for Tua in specifically in terms of quarterback. But that's the way it goes. Hey, Marsha from Massachusetts, I see you. I love trivia. It was the game of our generation. That's why I think it's such a good fit, Lori. because I'm pulling in trivia from the 60s for the older Gen Xers, 70s, 80s, and 90s. 2000s feel too new to me. I don't feel nostalgic, even though it's going back, oh my God, 24 years now to go back to the year 2000. Bills fan, that's a rough life. Hey, you know what? It's all good. We've had 4 great AFC championships. The Raiders did step up today, Shay. I see that. I keep looking to see if one of y'all got that link up. Potato phone doesn't have enough space, says Kristen. There's got to be a way for me to put a link up. No? 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 Damn it. Yeah, I know. When I think to 2000, so forever in my brain, I mentioned this a lot. When I think of the 2000s, that was yesterday. The year 2000 was yesterday. 1990 always feels about 10 years ago. Like, to me, Friends started 10 years ago. 1980 will always be 20 years ago, and 1970 was 30 years ago. So I guess I'm 30 years old forever. It's just not changing for me. That's kind of where I'm at with things. Guys, thank you on Facebook. I see a couple people have shared the live. Keep sharing it. Keep liking. Let's see how many people we can get in here. Harry says maybe this will be the year the Bills beat the Chiefs and win the Super Bowl. I don't know. Did anybody watch the Chiefs game? I was working out. Hey, Andrew. Good to see you, buddy. I was working out, and the last I knew, Cincinnati was down by 1 point, but they were driving. So I didn't see how it ended. My guess is Mahomes pulled off a miracle and won the game because that's what he does. But yeah, I don't know how that game ended. KC won. Of course they did. Of course they did. Of course they did. Good for you. I know we've got a lot of Chiefs Nation fans in the room, so I'm happy for you guys. Not really, but what else am I going to say? So what's going on? What is that noise? I never can understand what that noise is. Anyway, what's going on? What did you guys do this week? What is on your minds? Hey, Barbara, good to see you. Red Kingdom, yeah. Yeah, it's some sort of notification, Val, but I don't know for what. Chiefs didn't need the refs? Niners have had a rough start. So what's going on? What can we talk about? What are you guys thinking about? What is pertinent? I will tell you, for those that noticed, the article for the Wall Street Journal came out about 3 weeks ago talking about Gen Xers and our retirement and how much money we've saved for retirement, or more to the point, how much money we haven't saved for retirement. And this week, my phone rings and I look at it, and on the caller ID, it says NBC News, Universal. And my first instinct is, okay, I'm getting spammed. There's no way this is NBC News, Universal. So I'm just staring at it as it's ringing. And then finally I'm like, well, let me pick it up. Why not? Let me see what they're going to try to scam me on. And it actually was NBC News. They'd read the article. They also are running a story on Gen Xers. And they've discovered through their research that we're not exactly ready for retirement. And so now this is a buzz right now in the industry. They're all panicking. And here's the question they asked me. Do I or do any of my followers think that we're going to need the support of our children as we enter into retirement? Are we going to have to lean on our kids? Are we expecting our kids to support us in our retirement? Now, my knee-jerk reaction was not a chance in hell. I have nothing against these young kids, but the idea of them supporting us scares the hell out of me. If my next lunch is dependent upon my kids and their generation feeding me while they're struggling to feed themselves, then I don't see it happening. Kimberly says, God, I hope not. Tammy Elaine says, no way. Marianne says, we're going to have to keep working. Jeep Willie says, we'll probably live in the woods. My answer was no. That's not something I'm seeing. We'll get to Amy. That's just not something I'm seeing. When it comes to my community, a lot of us are jokingly saying we're either going to work till we die. Maybe we'll get off early the day of our funeral so we can attend. But a lot of us are saying we have no problem continuing to work. We made different choices. We chose to live in the moment. I know personally, I've enjoyed vacations with my kids. I've enjoyed giving my kids experiences. I've enjoyed doing things in the moment and living life in the moment because let me be honest, my parents struggled a little bit when we were younger, making sure, and I know a lot of people have relayed this story to me where Gen Xers' parents struggled for retirement, said, you know what, we're not taking a vacation this week because I need to save for that rainy day. I need to save for retirement. And then our parents retired and they lived long lives. And a lot of Gen Xers' parents ended up going into assisted living. And we saw the money that they had saved, that they had stockpiled for, that they had struggled to put away, go there instead of here. So I think a lot of us just chose differently. We're like, you know what? I will work as long as I'm able and I'll figure it out. My dad and let's see, my dad is 77 and just retired 2 years ago. Funeral at work at 11, work till 10, experiences, all that matter now. That's kind of the way I relate it in the Wall Street Journal episode. It's not that some people have commented and said we aren't prepared. We're not responsible. And my response was responsible to whom and for what? I'm not asking anyone to pay my way. I'll continue to work, but if I choose to enjoy the years where I'm fairly young, where I'm active, where I'm mobile, where I'm able to enjoy these times with my kids, I would much rather live less frugal now and enjoy these years and maybe live more frugal when I'm having a hard time falling and getting back up again. How do you guys feel? Hey, Jody Stapleton. Hi, Latanya. Are we more or less healthy than our folks? More healthy is the statistic. We're more healthy, but we have less money saved by far than our parents had at this point in our lives. Now, remember, that said, we're the experimental generation in so many ways. We didn't get pensions. A lot of them did. We were responsible for our own retirement through matches and 401ks, but that drastically changed things. Kids after us, the millennials, were more well-versed in the whole 401k game, so they're a little further along. But we're the experiment. Fred Sanford never retired. Now he's with Elizabeth. My ex-wife made sure I'll work forever. Ron Plastic says at 50, I've got nothing after a bad marriage sucked me dry. No idea what's in the future. My dad is 91, still getting his pension. My dad lived well into his 90s as well. Hey, Sheila, good to see you. And collected Social Security and a pension for all that time. Semi-retired and work. Hey, Paula from South Buffalo. Well, at any rate, there may be an opportunity to speak. And I guess the person that interviewed me works with the Today Show and with NBC News. So they may be putting something together that I can join in on and represent our generation when it comes to answering these questions. So no pension fund for X and younger. Exactly, Valerie. And that's what the gotcha was for us. They took away that guarantee. And it hurt because our parents worked pretty much from the minute they got a job through retirement, same place. That place took care of them in their working years, took care of them in retirement years, gave them their benefits, took care of everything. We didn't have that connection with an employer, so we statistically changed jobs about every 7 years. Now, 7 years isn't a long time to get a huge balance in that 401k account. So a lot of us, when the time came to jump jobs, didn't necessarily roll it over. We used it to get our kid braces or to fix the roof or to buy a new house or as down payment or a lot of things. Chris asked if we were making a new movie about the 80s, what would the title be? Hillary says it's every 2 to 3 years that people change jobs now. Doreen agrees and mentions that's why employee turnover is so high. 80s movie title. Amy Winter says we just had this conversation this week. We either went to college, military, or work. Movie title. I like Walk It Off. I like Blow on It. I like How Do You Spell Relief? ROLAIDS. Give Rolaids a little bit of a shout out there. Rub some dirt on it. I like rub some dirt on it. We live in a multi-generational household, says Daleen. And you know what? And that's the other thing I mentioned. We are the sandwich generation in a lot of ways. Our kids, I don't want to say failed to launch because they have their own struggles, but a lot of us have adult children living with us. Not me specifically. My oldest is 20, my youngest is 12. Of course, they're living with me. But a lot of us have 25 and 30-year-old adult children living with us because they don't have the means to start off their life the way other generations did. And then not only are our kids boomeranging back with us, some of us have our parents living in the house. 22 and 24 for Wirehead. Ghost Shot says people change jobs so quickly because the corps are competing to pay the least and only a few are trying to pay. Yeah. Glad to have my 23-year-old. God bless. Tussin will fix anything. Don't make me get out of the recliner. That's a title for an 80s movie again. My kids are 24 and 21. I'm glad they live at home. My kids are, listen, I was raised, I make jokes about parenting and I make jokes about Gen X parents. My parents were I'm first generation Greek. My parents were immigrants. They were very, very loving. They let us grow up knowing that our home was our home. There was no, you have to leave at 18 or 20 or 21. Now, we grew up in a small town, so I left at 18 anyway because I went to college in Buffalo. But the home was our home. We always knew we were welcome back in it at any time. And then that's what my kids hear from me. This is their home. They're welcome to be here anytime they want. Respectfully, rules apply, standards apply, respect applies, all that good stuff. But it's their houses, and they're welcome to stay as long as they need. Shelly says, I'm 54. Kids are, wait a minute. You're 54 and your oldest is 46. The math ain't mathing. I'm 54. Kids are 46, 43, 38, 35, 33, and 29. Amy says, exactly, John. We could always go home. Same here. If you guys could see how small the font, adopted possibly, on my YouTube is, and I'm so proud that I'm still able to read it because it is teeny tiny. Math is hard. For our bonus kids, got it. 401 nothing. My household has been self-employed. Well, Kimberly, you know what? That's another point. Our generation is by far statistically the most entrepreneurial generation. And it stems from when we graduated, those of us that went to college, we came out during the dot-com bust. There were no jobs waiting for us. None. The boomers basically were forced to not retire when they felt they could because their pensions weren't where they wanted them. Their 401ks weren't where they wanted them. It didn't happen. They were holding on to jobs. Companies laid off. They kept those with senior positions. At any rate, we graduated. We came into the workforce. There was nothing there. We either took 2 or 3 mixed jobs, threw on a name tag, and worked those kinds of jobs, or we started finding a different way. And to this day, Gen X finds a different way where people that are 54 years old and start doing digital content creation out of nowhere. I mean, who the hell does that? We just do things differently. Facebook is, guys, how does Facebook look? It's telling me the frame rate is slowing down. I hate Facebook Live with a passion. There's not much I can do with it. Yeah, exactly, Ron, but I don't know how. I went to a trade school. I think we're going to see a lot of that coming back. When we were kids, we had what we called BOCES, which later became VoPro, vocational programs, that taught kids trades. Okay, so Facebook, some are saying it's good, some are saying it's slow. Joanne Patterson, love your content. Thank you. Thank you, Joanne. Wheelie says, I'm so glad I do not need to work. God bless. Life just sucked and we had to live with it. Well, we did. And we were trained for it, at least. Our parents really did tell us, suck it up, buttercup. When we grew up, the mantra of life's not fair prepared us for life not to be fair. There was no surprise when it turned out that life wasn't fair because it's what we were told our entire childhood. So when we didn't get the jobs that we wanted to get, when we didn't want, and that's what I think. I think some of the younger Gen Zs, some of the older Gen Zs and the younger millennials aren't quite getting. is life's not fair. I get that you worked really hard in school. I get that you did everything right. I get that you saved and you did all these good things. And now, for whatever reason, you're not finding a good paying job, or rent's ridiculously expensive, or inflation's through the roof, or interest rates are high. I get it. You're like, this sucks. But my only answer to them is, okay, well, figure it out. Crystal says, I do not do Facebook at all. Social media is not for me. You know, Greg says on YouTube they act entitled. I think it's what they know. And again, we were trained for one sort of world. And we as parents, a lot of us, generationally speaking at least, trained our kids for another. We overcorrected and the world got easy. Kids today talk about how hard the world is as far as being expensive. What they're not understanding is the world's a lot easier, though, too, in other ways. They will never know what it's like not to know something. Something that simple. They will never know what it's like not to know something. If I want to know something, I ask, and the answer mysteriously, magically floats through the air to me. We had to be okay not knowing things. We had to be okay with our parents saying things like, well, ask your teacher tomorrow. Or I don't know. We grew up not always being in touch with one another or with each other, or having the peace of mind of our parents knowing where we were at all times. It's a different world, and a lot of it's difficult, but a lot of it's a lot easier than it ever was for us. Rent is expensive. Boo fucking who. I mean, it is expensive. It is. But there are ways around it. Get roommates. I mean, I'm sorry, my first college apartment, I had 5 roommates, only 4 of which were on the lease. One kind of lived in the basement. He couch surfed in our basement and paid us some modicum of rent illegally because that's how we could afford it. And it was on Minnesota Avenue in Buffalo, which I promise you, not a good neighborhood. We did what we had to do. A mattress on the floor. And you look at some of these dorms. You know, school just started not too long ago, and on Facebook and on TikTok and on Instagram, you'll see where they share their kids' dorms during where they put them in. These things are amazing. I had a mattress on the floor and a little mini fridge that I'm pretty sure nearly burnt down the apartment more often than I care to admit. I rented out my tornado cellar. That's ingenious. Chris says, my son is 24 and pays me rent. His idea, and it works for me. Ray says, on my YouTube for the first time. Dude, Ray, welcome, man. I hope you enjoy it. $640 a week. College, outrageous costs now. Well, and again, but it's a choice. Like, I did a response, and I think the person got a little upset, and some people did. Tracy, I appreciate it. The fitness thing for me is absolutely enormous right now. Sometimes I worry I post too much about it. But it's my way of just throwing out a quick content that says, hey, I'm here. I said I was going to be here, and I'm here, and I'm holding myself accountable, and I'm hoping it reminds others to get moving. But there was this person that said, hey, it's not fair because I paid a ridiculous amount of money for a degree, and I make more money waitressing than I make utilizing my degree. And the long and short of my response was, well, then when it comes to the college you chose, the tuition you paid, and the degree you received, ultimately leading to a job that doesn't pay you, you chose badly. That's a choice. You chose badly. Choose differently. Maybe go to trade school now. Maybe, but that's a choice. I'm not sure what her degree was in. She didn't stipulate. And then some people said, well, by your theory, then nobody should be in social work or nobody should be a teacher because those jobs don't pay well. No, that's not what I'm saying. But don't do that job if you're going to have to exist on your own using that income, and it's not enough. It's a fact. You can't do what you want to do just because you want to do it. Yeah, Appalachian. I would love to move everybody from Facebook over to YouTube. I think it's a much more seamless experience. So there's that. Now, Nancy Mancini brings up another video I made this week. So Amy Bosco. Amy, If Amy's watching on Facebook, Amy, welcome. I'm sure you're still here. Last I saw, Amy Bosco was in the middle of her goodbye tour, which kind of resembles the Rolling Stones goodbye tour. It seems to be never ending. Amy told me that my content has become low IQ, that I scream and attack all non-Gen Xers, and that I'm no longer fun to watch. Andrew, if you look up GenX Jono, GenXJono, you should find it. You can even Google GenX Jono, YouTube, it will come right up. So it's tough. Amy hurt me in my one remaining feeling. It hurt. I declared yesterday for a while to be Amy Bosco Day. I even changed my cover page of my Facebook account, trying to endear myself to her and give her the attention she so greatly needed. And then she just went on a tear. Listen, I don't care what your political ideologies are. I don't. If you're a staunch Republican, absolute live, die, and breathe Democrat, if you are as conservative as the day is long or as liberal as is possible, I don't care. There's a reason voting booths have like curtains, or I don't care. That's your business. As long as you treat me well and you're a good person, the only reason that you believe what you believe instead of what I believe is you lived your life, not mine. The sum of your life experiences have created this ideology for you, and it's yours. And I look at life as a Venmo diagram. Somewhere, even if we disagree, there will be a sliver where we connect. And I like to live where we connect. Now, Amy Bosco started just telling everybody that she is a staunch Trump supporter and a Republican and that we're all idiots. And I'm like, it has nothing to do with anything. But I enjoyed it. It was fun. I got out a little bit of aggression. Take care, Melinda. Good seeing you. It was fun to play. Some of y'all got pretty mean. Some of y'all made some attacks that I've got to be honest. I don't like personal attacks. The poor woman had one profile picture when this mess started. And now if you look at her profile picture, it's like a 30-year-old wedding photo. So she went back in time for a glow up, which is silly. But we all notice a lot of people are like, oh, all of a sudden the picture's a little different than the one you had before. So yeah. Curtains and voting booth not here. You can see the person next to you. Yeah, I know things have changed a bit. They have them on the tables. I don't like that. It's an individual thing. It's a personal thing. It should be a private thing, in my opinion. And again, just my opinion. And I still believe that if I come across somebody who is on the exact opposite of me in terms of political ideology, and I'm talking way out there, way opposite on every point of view, I bet I could still come up with ways that we connect. I bet you if they have kids, they love their kids. I hope. I hope they want the best for their children. I hope they want to be able to provide a decent life for themselves and for their family. They cry when they're hurt. They laugh when they're happy. There's so many more important things than politics. I got a degree in accounting, spent 3 months sitting behind a desk, quit, and got a job building bicycles. Yeah, my degree is in English education. I was a long-term subbing position right before I started my student teaching rotation. And I realized that I do not have the temperament to be a teacher. Not because, hey, Deb German, good to see you, honey. Not because the way I speak with kids, but even the 20-year-old version of me didn't know how to keep his mouth shut when speaking to parents. And when a parent told me to stop effing calling them during the day, because it was my job to watch their little bastard, in their words, from 8 a.m. till 3 p.m., they were my problem, not theirs. I said something along the lines of, it's really sad in this country, you need a license to go fishing, but he could be a parent. And I guess you're not supposed to say that to parents. And that was pretty much the end of it for me. I cared more about the kids than I couldn't leave it at work. I couldn't leave it at home. It wasn't a good fit for me. Thank you so much, Monique. I appreciate it. Business administration degree that didn't get me nowhere. What's up, Carlos? Carrie says that was a quote from Parenthood. I must have missed the quote. Love the shirt. It's actually an I do some where I try to bring awareness to autism, not because anyone directly in my family has it, but because people in my circle, my sphere, have been. And I think it's almost more important to share awareness around it when your family's not directly involved, because it kind of puts a light on the fact that all of us are impacted by autism if we just go beyond our direct sphere of influence. So this is basically regarding autism awareness, and whenever I get a chance, I go to different events and do what I can to shine a light on it. Kevin has a history and criminology degree. How's working at Starbucks, bud? No, joking. And Quinn Pratt's son has autism. Hey, Jono, who's winning on the thrift store throwdown so far? Oh, I crushed the first episode. First episode, I absolutely crushed. We're waiting for a couple people to come down and join us. Kelly with the super chat. I'm grateful to come here and have a respite from politics. Thank you for the virtual community. So fun. Thank you. That's what it's all about. Listen, Gen X, we have been quoted as being the most connected generation that grew up without connectivity. Gen Z, millennials, MySpace, and then Facebook, and then Yahoo, they had tools to connect them more and more and more. And yet, we seem to be the ones that find a way to connect, both face-to-face and virtually. It's pretty cool. Thank you, Russell. I appreciate it. I was doing a live from Buffalo, if you caught it, and people were coming in and out of the hotel, and they were stopping to chat. And every single person that stopped to chat was a Gen Xer. Wirehead says, my nephew has Asperger's. What am I drinking tonight, Doreen? Iced coffee. Latanya's worked with children with autism throughout the years. And every now and then somebody will mention something like, what do I personally think attributes to the fact that we've seen such an increase in autism? And I don't necessarily think that there is an increase in autism. I think there's been an increase in diagnosis, in awareness, and understanding. When we grew up, dude, I don't know. No, my wife made me this, not from Dunkin'. I don't spend money like that on Dunkin' Donuts, not unless it's my birthday. No, this is, we make it here. I don't know what your school was like, but our version of special education when I was a kid was one room. Like literally, our entire special education came down to one room and two teachers that sat in there. And in that classroom would be kids that were anywhere on the spectrum. They could be high-performing individuals. They could be barely able to communicate, and they put them in that one room. Kelly says, I think there's a huge increase in diagnosis across the board, whether accurate or not accurate. There might be some truth to that. We may be overdiagnosing at times. Hey, Paula, good to see you. How did things back in the day get so known? For example, everyone my age was told by their parents, video games will ruin the TV. It's universal. I don't know. I really don't know. Because there wasn't enough television even to spread the message, because like news was 30 minutes a day. How did we all know all the same nursery? It was the old-fashioned way. It was from one person to the next. Television, video game, we were only allowed to play our Atari 2600 on the black and white TV. We were not allowed to play it on the, I think we had a Zenith or a Magnavox or an RCA. Remember those? But no, the Atari was not allowed on there. We were told the TV would ruin our eyes, right? Sit too close, you're going to need glasses. We lived in the best era. I don't know, Deb. I honestly think we grew up in the best era. Chris Sutton, thank you so much for the $5 super chat. This is the one time a week I greatly look forward to, kind of like when Dukes of Hazzard was on. Dude, I couldn't agree more. It crushed me not to be able to come on last week. I abhor labels. My daughter may be on the spectrum, but I refuse to have her tested. And again, it's, personal choices. To get to Deb's point, though, like, I agree that we grew up in the best era, but I think part of what makes Gen X is we find a way to make, I personally love the era I'm living in. I love access to technology. I love the fact that the internet allows me to do things. Sheila, thank you for gifting a membership. So sweet of you. Thank you so much. I missed you too, Stacy. So Joseph is now a Gen X member on YouTube. You were gifted a membership by Sheila. As far as what that gives you, you'll see green names on YouTube with little badges. And it just makes it easier for me to see your comments is a big part of it. So I try to shout out more and more to those that have joined. I still don't know what that is. It's driving me insane. Deb says technology don't like me. Hey, Simone. So yeah, I mean, I love every era. So here's my deal. I was born in 1970. I don't think there's anything better. Wirehead, thank you. Thank you guys for continuing to moderate over on YouTube. I appreciate it. Marcy, you're new. You're definitely welcome. So I was born in 1970, right? So I was blessed to spend the time from 0 to 9 as a 70s kid out there on my bicycle. No technology to speak of, right? 70 to 79, 9 years old was the oldest. I mean, I got to grow up in that Wonder Years almost environment where it was all about my imagination. It was all about being outside. It was all about climbing trees. It was all about watching television, and television was new and exciting. Color TV was still fairly new. I can't think of anything better than being a child growing up in that 60s to 70s time, because it was amazing. And then we bring on the 80s, right? So like my high school was John Hughes era. I was in high school during the 80s. I graduated in 1988. Is there any time better to be a high school student than the 80s, when Atari 2600, Commodore 64, Apple IIes, trash 80s, technology started coming along and we started adapting to it. And it was exciting and it was cool and it was amazing. And then 90s for college? Are you kidding me? Grunge and the Seattle music scene and everything hip hop exploding. I cannot, 3 better decades to spend my formative years. I wouldn't trade it for anything. And I always say that if the cost for being a child in the 70s, for being a high schooler in the 80s and a young adult in the 90s, if the cost for being able to have had that in my experience is that I'm old now, I'll pay it every day of the week and twice on Sunday. Gen X, one of the last generations was, and we witnessed our stuff, Kevin, right? And I try to be careful of that because, yes, the Berlin Wall coming to, but history always happens. History will never stop happening. You could say World War I, World War II, Civil War, and it'll continue to go on. My neighbor had black and white TV, did not know Richard Cunningham had red hair. That's funny. So history always happens, but we're unique. Not in my opinion, my humble opinion. We're not unique because we experienced history. Every generation does. But we are the only generation that in our formative years bridged the gap from no technology to all technology. We're literally the generation. Think about it. When we were kids, if your parents were like mine, they didn't really even want to know about the technology. We had to set the VCR. We had to set the clock on the microwave. We had to take care of things. We share the distinction, hey, Victor, of teaching both our children and our parents how to adapt to technology. We're the experts. That's different. That's never happened. Blinking light on the VCR, the blinking clock. We bridge the gap. And then the other thing about us that no other generation can speak to, and every now and then I love my boomers, right? I love my boomer followers. But when they say us too, it can't be you too, because we were the generation as children that saw divorce explode. We're the only generation, the first generation, that saw the family unit, the nuclear family unit, as it had been for all of time, sense of time, completely disrupted, changed into something else. For better, for worse. I don't judge, I speak to it. But because of that, that helped create the latchkeyness of us. We were the generation for the first time where moms started entering the workforce. Not ever. I know some boomers' moms worked. I get it. But not in large numbers like they did for us. That was a change. And then the laws weren't ready to keep up. So millennials can say, yeah, my mom works too. I get it. But laws had caught up by the time you were a child and said, no, You can't leave a 7-year-old at home with a 3-year-old brother. It's not appropriate. We will come and take your kid. That's how we grew up. The laws there weren't daycare centers everywhere. Bye, Kimberly. Thank you for jumping on. Do-it-yourself generation. Hey, Mark from Alberta. My mom still has a flip phone. The Betamax player. What's going on, Chris from Arkansas? I see your comments. So yeah, we were different. We were absolutely different. Can you imagine how quickly they could get a kid out of a well these days? Started babysitting when I was 10. A lot of us, it was not. I knew more about computers than the teacher. Hey, Nikki from Nebraska. Yeah, we were an experimental generation. We talked about retirement and how things changed. That was a failed experiment. We were a left to our own devices generation. We are different. And even if people say, no, I am too, or no, that's fine. But the statistics bear out my story. When they look at what we became, it's because of how we were raised. We generally, in the workplace, are more adaptive than other generations. We are more likely to go with the flow. We are more likely to stick through something and keep working it until the problem is solved. It's just all those things. Playing with a cigarette lighter inside my mom's car. We all did it. Burnt our tongues, or a baby in the well would be left there today, but we'd have 1,000 live streams of it. Stack of bricks, the 2x4 still jumped it. Good Sunday evening from Ontario, Canada. Hey, Angie from Ontario. I appreciate it. I was just lucky if I can get my damn combination lock to work. Do you guys remember coming back from vacation and just getting in front of your locker after spring break or Christmas vacation, just staring at it and being like, no idea. I remember trying to put a VHS tape into a Betamax. I used to leave school, go to another school down the street, pick up my sister, bring her back to class. It was just normal. Bills are an okay team. Thank you, Richard. I hated those lockers. Mutual of Omaha's Wild Kingdom. I wonder, I pray that my kids, now my 20-year-old starting to experience nostalgia a little bit for the first time. As she looks back on things she saw as a kid that aren't readily available anymore, she's starting to get it a little bit. And I pray that they feel the same way, but we have so much of it. Because again, the PSAs, when's the last time you saw a PSA on TV? When's the last time you saw a public service announcement teaching kids about what they should be eating or brushing their teeth, staying away from drugs? When's the last time you saw regular public service announcements asking their parents if they know where they are at 10 o'clock at night? Never, right? Because now the schools and the parents teach the kids, which is right. It's the way it should be, I guess. But somewhere along the line, society realized, holy shit, we fucked up. These kids don't know what to do if they catch on fire. Stop, drop, and roll. These kids are more worried about quicksand than they are drinking the poison under the counter. So here, give them Mr. Yuck stickers and tell them where to put them. Society realized really quickly that they had fucked up, and they're like, we got to fix this. We really have to do something because these kids' parents aren't home to fix it, so we got to jump in. And that's when we got, The More You Know on NBC. I learned it from watching you, Dad. This is your brain on drugs. Have you hugged your kid today? Do you know where your kid is at 10 o'clock? We're the last generation to not blatantly something. Mr. Yuck, no caller ID, no call waiting. My parents wouldn't pay for call waiting even when it came out. Duck and cover, no warning labels. Mr. Yuck was warning labels, but they gave them to us to put them on. What happened to McGruff? I have no idea. One to grow on. After school specials, absolutely, Kelly. I mean, they really did try to put a patch on it, to be like, okay, we missed something. We got to go back and backfill some of this stuff. Who remembers the cartoon with Bugs Bunny that came on talking about the coiling the electric around the appliances, or turning? I every time I walk by a stove, if I see the pot handle out, I'm like, turn those pot handles in. I remember Bugs Bunny teaching me that. Fat Albert did a gun violence episode. I did not remember that. I will absolutely look into that. See ya, Chris. Appreciate you being here, buddy. I did that today. Appalachian just turned the pot in. Yeah, we all remember it. You know, it's even educational stuff. Like, God, I loved. And teachers today, I'm told, I have followers that are teachers, and they say they still use Schoolhouse Rock. But we, the people, in order to form a more perfect union, if it wasn't for that song, I don't think I would have passed that. Dad would move his hand towards his belt to shut up if we're being too loud. I'll give you another one. I just did a video on lies our parents told. Like, our parents honored honesty above all else, right? If you're honest, that's all our parents ever said to us. Just be honest with me. Just tell me the truth. If you tell me the truth, you won't get in trouble. It's a lie. We got in trouble anyway. But I was talking with somebody today about the lies we were told. And, you know, the classic one is the light on the car, right? The interior light, you're not allowed to have. It's against the law to drive with the interior light on. That's a lie. It's not true in any state in the union. You're allowed to have the light on. That one I think we all know has been debunked. Did you guys know it's not illegal to drive without shoes on? There is not a single state in the nation where it's illegal to drive barefoot. But my mother swore on a stack of Bibles that a state trooper told her that it was illegal when she saw me try to drive barefoot once. That's not a thing. It's fake. It's a lie. You want to know what else is a lie? Be quiet while fishing because you'll scare the fish. It's a lie. Our fathers just wanted us to shut the hell up. That one I just found out today. I just learned today that fish aren't really spooked by talking above water. It doesn't spook most of them. They've done studies on it where they actually make noise above the ground, above the water, and they use sonar to check the fish, and the fish don't care. It was a lie created to shut us up. Why? Because the adults who were fishing didn't want to hear our stupid questions. Did you guys? Also, hour after swimming. If you eat, you need to wait an hour before swimming. You know what? Lie. Not true. Well, Chris, making sure you have clean underwear on in case you're in an accident is also a lie, because if the accident is severe enough, I promise you, even if it was clear underwear when you went into the accident, it won't be clean underwear when you come out of the accident. I was told that my dad used that excuse as an excuse why he didn't catch fish. Yeah, or you'll get cramps. Not true. No, you won't cramp up because of the food anyway. I mean, you may cramp up, just cramp up, but yeah, Andrea says I debunked that myself on the swim team. I ate and got my best time ever. Correct, because eating will give you the energy you need to swim. Bill Cosby debunked the clean underwear thing. What about the watermelon seed? If you swallow a seed, it will grow in you. I heard that one. The best one was I actually used it in the video. And it's not one, I stretched the truth myself a little. My mom didn't use this one, but a follower gave it to me, so I used it. And it goes something like this. The ice cream truck only plays music when it's out of ice cream. So if it's coming down the road playing music, they're letting you know, stay inside, I'm out of music. I'm out of ice cream. Step on a crack, you'll break your mama's back. Gum in your tummy will stay for 7 years, I learned. Pop Rocks and Coke, it was what killed Mikey. Yep, 7 years. And we all learned it was 7 years to digest gum. How about the one, like, there's so many of these. And again, getting back to someone's point from a while ago, we all knew these. We all heard these same stories, whether you were in Alberta, Canada, or Florida in the U.S., whether you were a kid who spent every summer in Greece or somebody living in Great Britain. Wet hair will make you sick. That is also a fallacy. You can go out in a blizzard naked with wet hair and you won't get sick. You may get hypothermia, you may get frostbite, other bad things can happen, but you don't get sick from cold. And that's one my mother will never agree with me on. Even when my kids were little, she would constantly be trying to cover them up. I'm like, Mom, they're fine. You can't get sick from cold. Germs make you sick, says Jen, not the weather. Don't make a face, it'll freeze like that. Don't shower when it's lightning outside. All right. I don't know about that one. Nikki brings that one up on Facebook. What do you guys think? That one, I'm told that I've at least seen it on the internet, and we all know that if you see it on the internet, it's true. Sheila, I would not say that. I did not say anything about whether or not there is a tooth fairy. You'll never hear words debunking things like that out of my mouth and putting it onto the internet. But the lightning one, I think, is true. I think that there is some chance that it can travel through the pipes and you could get shocked if lightning hits the house. But did your parents make you turn the television off when you were growing up? If it was lightning, thundering outside, my mom always made us turn the TV off. I'm not sure why. There's that sound again. I'm not sure why we had to turn the TV off. I think it's maybe, is anybody on Facebook subscribing? Because I have a subscriber goal. So, on YouTube, people on YouTube are throwing super chats. They donate small amounts of money, sometimes not so small amounts of money to help support me. They join the group. On Facebook, you can do that as well, a little differently. It's, I think, 99 cents a month if you subscribe. If you go on my page, you can hit a button that says subscribe. Now, on Facebook, the fun thing about it is you can join a private group when you do that. And Deb and Sheila and a bunch of people that are in there do a really good job of throwing stuff up there. And everybody contributes to that private page. And it's kind of cool. For $1 a month, not so bad. And I see I'm up to 208 on a goal of 250. So maybe that's what that is. If you've subscribed and that's what that's doing, thank you for subscribing. Deb says it's the best 99 cents a month. I really appreciate it. I mean, do the math. I have almost 700,000 followers. If all of you donated $1 a month, I'd be forever grateful. You were supposed to unplug the TV. All I can guess is maybe because it had those cathode ray tubes and the tubes could explode if there was a surge. Don't call during a lightning storm. I heard that one as well. I got to make a video on these. Keep them coming. Play with it and you'll go blind. Ronaldo, my vision's pretty poor. I got to let you know that right around 12 and 13, my vision got substantially worse with every single appointment. And I'm not saying there's a correlation to anything. I'm just saying that at 10, I didn't need glasses at all. And by 16, I was nearly legally blind. So Gio says CRTs do not explode. I don't know. Yes, Sarah. Bloody Mary in the mirror, hairy palms. I've heard that one too. For girls, it was to be careful on the bike seat. I've been working, Janet says she's been working in nursing homes and they don't always, some of them allow you to give showers during thunderstorms. The microwave thing, Nikki Robinson says don't stand in front of microwaves. Now, the microwave thing is funny. So one of my first jobs as a kid, aside from the restaurant, I always had to work at the diner my parents owned. But outside of that, my first paid job was Russell's Service Star. It was like a hardware store. Now I'm going to see if I'm up to 209. That's what that sound is. No, that's not it. All right, so it's not that you all are jumping on and becoming subscribers. Would have been nice. But that's not it. I will never be able to figure this out. Terry Osborne. Oh, it is. Terry Osborne subscribed just a few seconds ago. That's what it was. Terry, thank you. Nicole Davini became a follower. Tara became a follower. Ryan, I see it now. Celeste subscribed 18 minutes ago. Guys, thank you so much. I see things now. I am an idiot. I've been getting notifications from the trivia. Yeah, I just launched the new so I was playing around with it. I launched a couple that aren't real, but it's okay, no big deal. But this week, so the results are in. I posted the top 5 both on YouTube under the community standard. Michelle, thank you so much. You're always so generous. Thank you, Michelle. For those that can't see it, Brian, I appreciate it. Michelle constantly is very generous. $20 over on YouTube. Thank you, guys. But yeah, I just launched the Trivia Crack. It's live. If you go over to my Facebook, you will see it, probably the newest post. there's a brand new link. So listen, the CEO of Trivia Crack, of the company that puts out Trivia Crack, is following me on Instagram. I am so blown away by this partnership because they are like, they've scheduled calls with me. They said you guys are ridiculously engaging when it comes to playing the game. That as soon as it's ready for the next set, you're like right there. They said the metrics as far as how competitive our generation is. Up till now, they've been working with younger kids and younger creators and younger influencers. And they're like, yeah, Gen Xers are completely different. Terry, thank you. He goes, we've never seen this level of engagement, this level of competitiveness. No, I haven't seen the new Beetlejuice yet. Eli, thank you. I appreciate you, buddy. Eli coming through with $5. Sarah, that's a good point. I'll carry that on. I actually have had comments with them about things like that. I said it's very difficult for some things to be seen. So thank you, and I absolutely will carry that forward. Biggest lie, you can't drink coffee. It'll stunt your growth. Good one. Yeah, Tommy says it's because we grew up on Jeopardy. I just think we're really competitive anyway. And they were shocked at just how, like, of the 700 and something people that joined in the first round, how the percentage of them that stayed from the first round all the way to the third round, they said they've not seen those numbers before. And I'm like, well, you ain't seen nothing yet. Gen X, we're competitive. We don't like being taken advantage of. I'm like, just make sure we can still play the game for free. I get that they have ads which support the platform, and some of those ads support me. So I'm like, I get that. I just want the game to stay free. And they've committed to the fact that it doesn't cost anything to play, doesn't cost anything to download. And there's a lot of fun stuff coming. So if you can jump over to Facebook and from YouTube and just start, I would appreciate it. Those that are on Facebook already, on the live, I have a permanent link right here. Go ahead and jump in. Linda Hickman, thank you so much for following. Oh, yeah, Lori mentions a piece of that pie for Trivial Pursuit. Kyle Burris, thank you for becoming a follower. Trivial Pursuit was huge in the 80s. That was a new thing. Because the thing with Trivial Pursuit is Life and Monopoly and Operation and all those games when we were kids were super, super popular. Perfection. I mean, it was almost like they were training us to be able to perform under pressure. But we kind of like lost sight of it. And for a while stopped playing games because things like the Atari and computers came along and board games and games of that became less popular. But I loved Stratego. Heidi? Is that what? Yep. Got the new D&D Trivia Pursuit for my son for Christmas. Yeah, Trivia Pursuit came along, and it kind of reinvigorated board games. Trivia Pursuit was a big deal when it came out. Maybe that's why we have the affinity now for, can't forget Simon, why we have the affinity now for things like Trivia Crack. But I remember I was in high school when Trivia Pursuit came out, and it was a big deal. And then Jenga came out, and it was a big deal. And then Pictionary. We would bring games to school, and there'd be a couple teachers that would stay with us after school, and we'd just play in the cafeteria. Did anyone see the video where someone built a giant Operation game? Kevin actually made a video on that, if you guys look back. But yeah, amazing. I want one. I want a life-size Perfection game. Jennifer Howell, thank you for following. Nikki Robinson, thank you so much for subscribing. Appreciate you. After doing technical support for a job, none of my hobbies include technology. Oh my God, Trivial Pursuit in my house. And it would be deathmatch. I mean, I always joke that Gen X was the generation that could turn Duck, Duck, Goose, musical chairs, into like a blood sport. We damaged one another playing musical chairs. Amy Constantinidis. Hi, John. I found you live from Adelaide, South Australia. Constantinidis, is that a Pondio name, Andy? Looks Greek. He says, I have an 8-ball right now. Well, sounds like you're having a party. Oh, 8-ball, the toy. Yeah, that's what I meant. Scrabble got violent at times. Jennifer Howell, I think I said that one. Victor Richards, thank you for subscribing. Brandy, thank you for becoming a follower. don't want to leave anybody out, but I also don't want to be saying that. Duck Duck Goose was Bloodsport. Dude, we smacked the fuck out. Oops, I'm swearing a lot today. We're all adults. We smacked the hell out of each other, the back of the heads. We'd go around, it's like duck, 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 and if the teacher wasn't watching, goose. And there's no way to play musical chairs without getting physical, because when it came down to that last chair, we pushed the hell out of the other person. Sheila says if anybody wants, Sheila Bugs wants to set up a game on Trivia Crack, she's there. I will continue to post the top 5 throughout the week. I want to start giving shout outs. It's just that sometimes the names there don't match the names here, so I don't necessarily know who I'm talking about. Nancy absolutely cannot forget about Dodgeball. Kelly Albright says, Shelly Bugs, can you post a link? I wish we could grab the link. Like I said, the link is on Facebook, Shelly. All right, Sheila. It's also on my Facebook Live. If someone can go from YouTube over to Facebook, grab the link and bring it back, I will pin it. I just don't see anywhere on here that I can put a comment. I've been trying. It's just not happening. Twister, British Bulldog? Didn't know that one. Wait, someone doesn't know what... I was joking. I know what 8-ball is. So Kelly, yeah, the link is over on Facebook currently. I'll bring it over to YouTube later and put it in a live. It's just that right now I don't have it to put in this thing. But the game itself is a different app. It's called Trivia Crack, and it's not specific to Facebook or any other social media. London Bridge, Dodgeball, that rubber ball headed. Oh, Red Rover, absolutely. Slip and Slide. Capture the Flag was always my favorite. What's my Facebook? You can find it just the @ symbol, GenX Jono. Pretty much all my platforms, because my name is so difficult for most people, the @ to get to my social media is always going to be GenX Jono. GenXJono. There we go. Sheila just put a link, and let me see if I can. No. Don't you go away from me. All right. Disconnected for a minute. Pin message. There we go. All right, I pinned Sheila's message. So if anybody clicks on the link that is now pinned on YouTube, if you have Trivia Crack, it'll just take you to a place where you can play with us now. If you don't have it, it'll let you download it and then take you to a place where you can play with us now. And for this week, oh, thank you so much. That hot chick, 20. Oh, that hot chick. I like it. $2. Appreciate you. Here's a question for y'all. Jacob's Ladder, I forgot about that one. Good one, Rose. So I'm continuing the theme of 60s, 70s, 80s, and 90s. Would you guys want me to just have like 1 week be strictly 80s challenge, 1 week be strictly 70s trivia? Or do you like that it's kind of running the gamut from 60s all the way to 90s? Because we even if we weren't born in the 60s, we grew up in the shadow of it. We grew up in the shadow of Vietnam, even if we were really little. Watergate, we know it. Mix it up. That's what I think, Wirehead. Val says mix it up too. Maybe we can do an 80s for fun 1 week. Why aren't I watching football? Because the Bills played on Thursday, and I watched all the 1 o'clock games, and I'm here with you guys. How could I be doing both? I like the combo. Kung Fu, martial arts stuff. I'll have Twitch devices sign on to Trivia Crack. Separate decades, separate ones. Mix it up. Okay, good. Time for Gen X to take over the world. Tim, we took over the world a long time ago. Just people don't know it's kind of like that game we used to play, right? If we wanted something, I licked it, it's mine now. We only take over the parts of the world we have interest in owning. The rest of it, they can do whatever the hell they want with it. It comes to a point where we don't care. Yes, Jessica, the link is over on Facebook. Thank you. And now it's also over on YouTube, thanks to Sheila. I don't remember the 80s. I was busy serving the Navy. Well, then you remember that part of the 80s. And I mean, that's still it. Some of my earliest memories were watching the news with my parents' reports for Vietnam. Where do you find me on Trivia Crack, Sarah? There's a link here that if you click it, it'll take you to the challenge that was just created. Alan Fiera, gotcha, bearded tattooed guy. Thank you also for the super chat, $2. Appreciate you, buddy. Monopoly is still my favorite game. I liked Risk too. Somebody said Stratego. I love Stratego. Tommy, thank you for becoming a follower. Appreciate you. We own it. The rest don't matter. Miss Susie. Sheila's link is different than the one on Facebook. Oh, then hold off. That might be, it looks like that's my link tree. I bet that's not the one. I appreciate the effort, but I don't think that's it. So here's the deal. If you're on YouTube, give me 10 minutes. The 242 of you that are on here, I need you to listen to me. Give me 10 minutes after this YouTube live ends. My link tree, which is on YouTube. If you go to my channel, I have a link tree. I will throw a link in there. It'll be updated. There's an old link right now, but I'll put a new one in there. As soon as this live is over, I'll update it. So the 242 people on YouTube, just go to my link tree. As soon as this is over, give me 5 minutes, I'll update it. Speaking of which, we're running late. I've had so much fun I didn't even realize. No sevens, go fish. All right, y'all. I will do that. I will update it. No, I appreciate you trying, Sheila. No worries, please. Facebook, I hope those of you that are on there have already done it. I'm going to end this now. We will be back on Tuesday for my YouTubers. We have our Tuesday night trivia night. Different than the trivia crack. This is a night where a lot of my YouTubers get together. I take them to work with me. I set up the camera. I'm bartending. I'm busy. But we have 70s, 80s, and 90s trivia playing in the background. And you guys just listen to the trivia. And I joke about it, saying that it's like an AOL chat room. I'm barely interjecting at all. And it's amazing reading the comments later and just watching the community you guys have built up. You all know each other. It's like friends in a group chat setting. I love it. I think it's awesome. That's going to be this Tuesday at 7 p.m. Our Trivia Crack Challenge will go from tonight. It's 3 sections. So 1, 2, and 3. If you miss any of them, you can play them at any given time between now and Tuesday night will be the end, I think. Sunday night, Monday night, Tuesday night. 3 nights. Do stage 1 tonight, stage 2 tomorrow, and so on. That's it. Yes, Eastern. 7 p.m. Eastern on YouTube. I would love that. That would be awesome, Kelly. But anyway, other than that, I will see you all back here next Sunday, where I do want, if you watch and see as I post the standings, if you are one of the top 5, throw me a message. Let me know it's you. I'd like to give you a shout out here next week. I hope that I'll be one of the top 5 because I don't know the answers to these questions either. So I'm playing right along with you guys. I will see you next Sunday right here. Same bad time, same bad channel, YouTube, Facebook. Guys, have an awesome week. Be the best version of yourself you can. Keep moving. Keep working out. Keep doing something to try to hold on to our youth as we've got it. Thank you guys for being here. I love you all so much, and I'll talk to you soon. Give me 5 minutes. I'll update my link tree. I'm hoping to see 239 of you jumping on board. And Facebook's already been starting. Love you guys. Have a good night and have an awesome week. Peace.